All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Rebecca Johns coming to you live today on the Godly Woman Network. And I love today. Today, June 4th, 2026, marks a line in the sand. It is a day in history as we launch right here on the Godly Woman Network a new podcast that'll be coming to you monthly, the first Thursday of every month, right around this time. And I say around because it's not up to the co-hosts, Rebecca Johns and her awesome, amazing daughter, Sarah Bolton. It's up to Sarah's son. So welcome to our newest monthly segment called We've Only Just Begun. We have only just begun, and
Ooh.
Sarah is going to tell you all about it. Sarah, hey babe.
Hello. Yeah, we're going to be starting this. It is all about families, about getting to know each other, getting to know about our pasts and how we've dealt with a lot of stuff and how we've moved forward, and just showing you guys that a lot of things are possible, and hopefully getting to know you guys through all of this as well. So I'm excited to just get started and see where this goes.
Awesome. And it's true. We do want to take our story to the airwaves to share because there are some things we've learned in the last 24 years. Wouldn't you say, Sarah?
About that long.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been learning. We've been learning. And so each month Sarah and I are going to bring to you a new topic. The show we've entitled We've Only Just Begun, but each month has its own title. And this month, what are we talking about, dear?
Well, so you married my dad.
I kind of did.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of did.
Still a good choice. We all
I,
happy.
I'm
I'm having a
doubling
great
down.
time.
I'm doubling down. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm secure. I'm secure in my choice. We're gonna go ahead and just follow that through. You know, when we
Amen.
married each other in July 9th, 2005 is when we got married. We started seeing each other in November of 2002. But when we got married, we said we're signing on for a 60-year contract. At that time, we will evaluate and see if we'd like to re-up from there. We have been tested on that, y'all. Sarah knows really well, and we're gonna share some of those bones from my closet, my marital closet. But some of you watch Marriage Mondays with Sarah's father Brian and me right here on the Godly Woman Network, and we talk all things marriage. We just talked this last Monday was life after infidelity, so if you haven't caught that, please check out the replay on demand. And the truth of it is, um, becoming a stepmother in a family is a privilege because you really do get to stand in the gap for kids and love kids and walk a journey out with kids who really deserve to be so supported and loved by as many grown-ups as possible. The trick, though, is that as a stepmama, you're also coming into some territory that doesn't belong to you. It didn't start with you, it won't end with you. And it's a delicate dance. And there, if you think there isn't a rule book for parenting, if you think there's no rule book for mothering, there's really no rule book for stepmothering. And so a lot of times us women that get ourselves into these elaborate situations are not equipped. Our heart is in it. We mean well. We want to do right by the situation. At least most of us. I'm not saying there aren't some women that step into that stepmother role and perhaps aren't as honorable. We'll get into that in future episodes. But I think for the most part, when a woman's marrying into a situation, that she's hoping that she can be positive in the situation. But Sarah, what's it like for a kid? What's it like having your dad be like, I love her, I'm gonna keep her. Let,
I
let
think
alone more than once in your
Yeah.
experience.
I was gonna say, I it's definitely an adjustment period. There's definitely figuring out the new dynamics, what this new person's going to be, a friend, a parental figure, and figuring out those dynamics and where you have to lay your own boundaries as a kid, but also realizing that there are new experiences and there are ways of adjusting. And so, um, can I just say you've done a good job so far? um, but
I'll
it's
get
an
you that
adjustment.
$5 later. Good job. You did that really well. You said it with all your heart.
No,
No, I
yeah,
really I appreciate
yeah,
you saying that because I haven't always had like an A+ on my report card. And I'm not saying you just gave me one, but I think if there's anything that both of us can take credit for is that wherever we have fallen short or failed ourselves or each other over the years
mhm,
as adults, we've made sure that we did the work and have the conversations, which aren't always easy, and they bring up emotions and things that are very real from another time and place. And so sitting with each other and having some very delicate but important conversations is really the only reason that you and I are sitting here today.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I'm gonna suggest to our audience that part of why I'm getting a passing grade right now is because of the last 5 years.
Yeah. No, and I want to caveat on that is that there's always growth. Even if you were just my mom, like there's no step in there. Teenage years for parent and child is a huge leap, let alone having to add those extra dynamics to it. Changes all, it brings even more into the situation. So I feel like throughout the years we've been able to communicate about those, make the choices as fully grown adults, and then step forward into those relationships as better people, let alone as family. And a little bit about me, I'm also a new mom, he's almost two, but the perspectives that it brings, now having to do that with your own child or stepchild, like it just brings it, I opens up your eyes even more to situations that you're like, oh, they weren't purposely being mean to me, or, they weren't purposefully telling you
Right.
something, like, or there was meaning to it and they were very much trying to tell you something.
At one point recently, um, in our reconciliation, because Sarah and I
Mhm.
spent some years estranged. We'll get to that. You're gonna hear so much.
Oh,
Take it easy, relax. It's just day one. Relax,
so many
relax.
comments, so many questions.
So many things. So many things. But the time we spent estranged, even when reconciling, I said to her, even the worst between us was quite mother and daughter like. Like there wasn't anything wrong. You may have at the time looked at us like, if you were my real mom, none of this would be happening.
I
But the
know.
truth is,
We
as
get
all the
sick.
mothers with daughters and daughters with mothers out there that ain't got step, like you said, ain't no step in it. They're all nodding right now, like, yes, ma'am. So, honestly, even some of the shadows of our relationship were quite authentically mother and daughter relationship stuff getting worked out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you
Absolutely.
said something important though. Now you're a wife, you're a mom, right? You're 33, even though you shouldn't tell a woman's age without her permission. And I'm 53, so we'll just even the let. We'll just I'm 53. Um, so now you're married. You've been married for a few years. You've got a son who's about to be 2 years old. I know that when I was newly wedding and making babies, I would call my mother regularly and be like, I just want to apologize to you. I just want to say, right. And so once Sarah got married, and then she got pregnant, and then she had a baby, and we started having more of these phone calls where she was like, can I just ask how you were doing this with a baby while you also had teenagers? Because,
Mm,
right.
mhm.
And that's, I think, hopefully for all of us, we grow up and we have some like revelation, like, wow, my mom was this age. Wow, my dad was this age. And when they were this age, I was this age, and they were doing this and I was doing that. How did they handle it all?
Mm, mhm.
How did they do that? And suddenly your perspective of parent has changed. So talk to us about being new wife, being a new mom, and what that's made you realize about. I mean, I'm gonna say it this way, and it might be funny to some of y'all, but what has it shown you about your spectrum of parents, right? You've got this dad and these three moms,
Yeah, no.
biological step number one, step number two. By the way, I call us bachelorette number one, two, and three. They don't know. I don't know that they, it's nothing I've said to the one and two, but it's what I say. We're
Mm.
bachelorette number one, two, and three. So, what has becoming a wife, becoming a mother, growing up, reconciling stuff in yourself, but also with dad, with me, kind of getting some new eyes about the family tapestry of dynamic. What what is that like? What have you woken up to about the spectrum of grown-ups that were parenting you?
It sounds the most cliche, and I don't think you can truly understand it until you're in those dynamics. Nobody has anything figured out. Every day is learning, is growing, is understanding,
Take us
and
to church, girl.
it is uh, there are days you're gonna fail and you're gonna feel like a horrible parent. Because I'm not even just putting moms in this situation, just as a parent in general, there are days where you're gonna feel like you have not done what you should have done, but every day is a new day to get better, to try harder, or keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, for example, there are days where I'm like, I didn't vacuum today because the child was, just being the child, like I spent most of the day outside playing with him today, but I didn't get that one thing done. And my husband put it in the best perspective for me of, is he happy? Is he healthy? Has he clothed? Then nothing else mattered that day. As long as you can go to bed knowing that you did the most and did what you could, then that's all you can do. And some days you can just do more than others. And coming as from the child's perspective, like being able to see it from you guys, my parents, um, there really were days where you just did all that you could. And I couldn't see that, like truly, and again, there might have been days where you did mess up, but
One
you
or
did
two.
what, yeah, you did the best that you could, and you were dealing with so much, and
Mm.
everybody's perspective is different. Like, or their situations, I should say, their situations are different from family to family. But if you still wake up the next day and try something new, or can be consistent, that is, it's insane. Like, it truly is. I have to remind myself that every day.
That's something that Sarah and I have talked a lot about over the last few years of building our grown-up relationship is if as long as people are willing to work with you, talk with you, heal with you, deal with the reality of things with you, willing to grow. When we were talking about creating this show, I said, so what kind of things do you want to talk about? And she said so plainly, she was like, work, marriage, family, personal growth. And it's like, huh, yeah, yeah, really, if you become someone who can do quality work and like have life, have work ethic, find work that you love and make the impact that you feel like is yours to make, and an income that is satisfying to the quality of life you want to have, right? And then if you're someone who's out to have marriage or life partner and then have family and then always in personal growth, like those are the pillars for someone who makes that choice of life, which obviously I have, obviously Sarah has, right? We're wives and moms. Those are the pillars that you really want to be building up on, and then all the nuances that go on in between. And we've made a promise as mother and daughter that there is not ever anything we can't talk about, that we will be grossly honest and transparent, but also with honor and dignity for ourselves and each other.
100%.
um and it makes me cry, but I think that we've both really tapped into a lot of the appreciation that we've had for each other all along. But there was so much else going on that had nothing to do with me and you,
Mhm,
that
mhm.
we were trying to like see each other and have a connection through.
Absolutely.
And when there was the break in our relationship, it wasn't out of any type of anger or hatred towards Sarah, but I said at that time, there's stuff you got to go figure out with Bachelorette 1 and 2.
Mhm.
Because as Bachelorette number 3, I'm getting like the slack, I'm getting the heat
Mhm.
for stuff that's not just mine. And I'll own if it's mine, I'll own it. It's mine. I did it. I spilled that milk. I broke that toy of yours, right? I hurt your feelings. You feel less because of me. I own that. But I felt coming in that I was living in the shadows of so much and so much hurt. Like it wasn't your dad. I couldn't how could you wrong any of you for how hurt you were? Any of you, adults, children, anyone in the family's dynamic. But it didn't necessarily mean that the family knew how to deal with it well, let alone now bring in another party. None
Mm.
of us, like you said, none of us knew how to do it.
You're right.
And none of us know how to do it right now. We've just made a pact that we're going to learn together and
Mhm.
not hold it against each other if we don't know, but also do the work. What do you
Yeah.
want to say?
No, I 100% agree, and I feel like a lot of dynamics. I'm not the only child. I'm not the only parent in the world that's had um, multiple relationships, right? Like you saw yourself Bachelorette number 3. There was so many dynamics, other outside sources that I was letting myself bring into this relationship, into this dynamic, and it could be another, even if you guys were just dating, right? Like we got very lucky, and the way that my dad introduced us to you was not just like, oh, here's your new stepmom. There was growth, and there was time in
Yes.
building that relationship before the marriage started. But so just from the, oh, there's a new female in my life, there's a new parental figure. Um, I couldn't just see it. I couldn't just see you, right? Like
No,
I let all
no,
of the other outside influences
totally.
guide what I wanted to do or how I reacted to situations. And I feel like that happens in a lot of relationships, not just in family dynamics and friend dynamics, things like that, where just so many outside influences come in and you're not just seeing what's there, you know?
You know
So
what? I want to say something though. I was talking to a client of mine this week, and I was I was reminded of some stuff about myself from that era.
mm,
And one of the things that I want to say about that is you're not the only one. Kids are not the only one that have that experience of, let me say it this way, when you're a kid in those dynamics, there are a lot of grown-ups who dictate what's going on just in your life, period. So your thoughts, feelings, opinions, perspectives may not be heard, seen, or really even have room at the table to be clearly stated.
mm,
But as an adult, I'm walking in totally independent as a whole human being who can see clearly, so to speak. Nobody's in charge of my view. And why my client this week brought up stuff for me about when I was a young stepmother is because, and I talk about this, those of you that are following, a lot of the holistic healing work that I'm doing. I'm working a lot right now and sharing a lot publicly about the nervous system and about things that are stored in the nervous system that we experience, that then as new things show up in life, that's that reaction, that PTSD, that trauma response, that being triggered, right? We all have these triggers, and the world can't tiptoe around your triggers. If it's your trigger, that means it's your trigger. That means you got something to reflect on and work out. But one of the things that I recall, that I've been reflecting on this week, and I haven't talked to Sarah about this, by the way. I'm about to say it on the air, just brand new. So she's like, "You didn't plan this with me, mother." Um, we're gonna have to have a special word that if either one of us says anything that we're not going there, are we? Are we doing that conversation? Is French fries? French fries. Safety word. Need a safety word for this conversation.
oh Lord.
Um, um, you should see us
What do you
off
gotta
there.
say?
But what? No, I want to just confess something, and I want to confess it from about myself, but I want to confess it too, so that other women who are coming into family situations can pay attention to this. Okay. When I fell in love with your dad, part of the reason I fell in love with him because of the good dad that he was. I really appreciated how precious he was as a father, how much he looked at you kids as precious to him. And he did, and he still does. And not that Brian doesn't have his own shortcomings. We'll do another whole episode about that. Just kidding. Just kidding, babe. Just kidding, Brian. Happy Father's Day. Happy June. Um, but um, I didn't, while I had a good father, I didn't have a father that was vulnerable and affectionate the way your dad was.
Mm,
And what I didn't realize, Sarah, is that part of the sternness that I was bringing to the table as a mom was a reaction to me perceiving him as being too soft. Now, some of it was really practical. Like I'm the one with more executive skills, right? Like I'm the one that's going to have the structure and the schedule and the that is not Brian's jam. So, but I'm not talking about structure. I'm talking about sternness.
mm,
And I was thinking about I mean, I'm hearing a couple of things today that made me remember this. But one of the things you're talking about is this whole like everything in life is good, but I haven't handled enough of the chores and the doing and the, like my performance work isn't enough.
mm,
And I'm sitting here going, well, I know exactly where you got that from. Like I know how it was growing up with dad and his parents.
mm.
I know the perfectionism,
Yeah.
the impossibility of it, right? And then you go into the trauma of bachelorette number two, which we're not going to get into today. But then you come into the sternness, even though I know I get it. I was loving. I can look back and see my strengths and my weaknesses. I know I was
Sure.
cool and hip and somebody like, like you got to hang out like, oh, she's cool. She does makeup and hair and nails. We get to be fabulous together and like a girl to hang out with. And I know that there was a lot of like the coolness and greatness that I brought to things, but there was an unnecessary harshness, a sternness
Mm,
that made our environment performance based. And that had nothing to do with your dad. That had nothing to do with the Johns family and the y'all's dynamic. That had nothing to do with you kids. That had to do with me,
mm,
what was stuck in my nervous system, what I needed in my environment to have it, whatever, be
mm.
okay. But I didn't realize how much of your father's tenderness toward you guys was triggering in me something about what I didn't get. And my answer was, well, we're going to need to say, you're a little too soft around here. We're going to have to, there's going to have to be more than that around here. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, 100%, 100%, and I don't know if a thank you is an appropriate response, but it means a lot. But also, there were some things that we genuinely needed as kids that like can there be two sides to that coin? Like,
Yes, there
uh,
are.
yeah, 100%. The I was 13 years old and I didn't know how to blow dry my own hair.
Right.
Right. So there are a lot of dynamics that have I call it my own OCD, right? I'm not clinically diagnosed. I don't have a but there are just certain things that I need to have handled and taken care of and done, and but that's not all bad. There are
Right.
ways to make it in a good light, and
Yes.
acknowledging both sides to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I did see coming in like, okay, uh, we got to get serious about who these kids are. Like, we can't
Mhm,
just keep little small precious children forever. Like, they need to grow up. They need to know how to do
mhm.
a chore and self-manage. Like, we're at an age where, like, why are we still behaving like that and having grandparents or parents or whomever like coddle and do the thing? And I get it. There had been so much that you kids had gone through that the grown-ups around you that were left were kind of just wanting to compensate and make everything as good as possible. But that's not how people get over their trauma.
Right, you can't heal that way by just putting bows on top of it.
No. And so, you know, I know that some of what I brought to the table was really important. And, it's funny because when we were not on our talking terms, but I would get informed about like what you were up to in life, I would kind of smirk and be like, I made that badass right there. That's me. That's me. I did that. I did that.
Hey, even in our darkest times, we can make some good moves.
That's right.
Let's just put it like that.
That's right. I will drink to that, baby. I will drink to that. I will drink to that. Cheers. So
So no,
then what
it's
is it? Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to acknowledge, like, back to like being able to talk about anything, having these moments where we come together as individuals and being like, oh no, I see where I totally messed up in that situation, or being able to be like, oh no, you messed up in that situation, and the other person being like, oh no, yeah, I see that and I acknowledge
Right.
that, is so huge. Even if you don't, there are some things that we probably still don't agree on, but we're able to have those conversations and come to a mutual understanding of those
Yes.
situations. And that doesn't mean you
Yes.
have to agree. It just
Right.
means you can see it from the other person's perspective. And I think that
Yes.
has been the hugest aspect of that.
Yeah. And I think where we're winning right now, not just between me and you, but in the family, is in the relationships where people are willing to do that work.
Mm,
Like if we go do like survey the panoramic view of all the relationships and, John's Zaru families, right? My maiden name. If we go look, I'm not saying that to you, I know you know, but the audience, but she's like, I know what your maiden name was. Thanks. Um, but if we go do a little panoramic view of like all of the family and we look and see where the relationships are that are working and thriving and where the relationships that are stagnant, stuck, or struggling, the difference it ain't because over here they agree that everyone's voting this politically, and over here they're agreeing everything is this religiously, and everything over here they're eating the same and wearing the same clothes and listening to the same music and they love sex the same and all that. There's no conformity
no.
in the areas. And this is really important because some people look at like where areas of relationships are thriving and they're like, well, that's just because they do this and they've got that in common and she's got her brainwashed for that and this and that. No, no, no. Where relationships are thriving, y'all, is because of people are being authentic
Mm,
and they're talking and they're like, hey, you know what bothered me about that though, if I could just tell you, right, is this. And I don't know if you did that on purpose or if that was an accident or maybe I even perceived it wrong, but I really need to talk to you about that.
mhm,
And the ability to do that makes relationships thrive.
100%.
It's the air. If you go look at those other relationships where the stagnation and suffering is happening, that's not happening. They're social media stalking people. They're making assumptions about stuff they don't know. They ain't talked to people in a year or two, but they sure have an opinion about stuff. They think it's facts. There's judgment, there's condemnation. They don't, well, they're not, they're voting this and their sexual orientation is this and their politics is this. And there's so much inauthenticity.
Yeah.
And that's not, not judging. I'm just saying
No.
if people want whether you're bonus mom and daughter, blood mom and daughter, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Keep this in mind for people at work. It doesn't, this is just the rule of life. If you want relationships to prosper, you got to be willing to do your own work. You got to be able to reflect on you. You got to be willing to hear someone else's opinion and view that you don't necessarily agree with. And in cases of places in like this, where it's like, that's my kid, I don't care who birthed her. I don't. Because the day I found this family and knew it was meant to be my family, I decided I would take full responsibility for being her mother.
Mm.
So if the lady who offered the physical birth channel wants to ever show up and do another role and be in Sarah's life, Bachelorette 1 or 2, frankly, if anybody wants to show up, do the work to heal and deal and have relationships with my daughter, right? I'm gonna call it my daughter.
100%.
They can, because they have rights to her as mothers too. Like, they held those roles. One of them birthed her,
Hmm.
right? One of them had her for a few years in her little girl years. So anywhere where people want to thrive, this is the work there is to do.
Yeah,
You don't want
absolutely.
to do this work, it's okay. You don't have to. But then don't expect the benefits. This is the fruit of work. This is not, ain't nobody getting paid for doing this podcast. Okay. Like, this is Sarah and I had this idea a little over a year ago, and then life lifed. And recently we talked again. And I'm so grateful that you want to do this with me, Sarah. This is a real gift to me. I know it's a gift to you.
Yeah.
And this is going to be very precious for the world to have an example, like you said earlier, just to see what's possible. Don't throw in the towel. You
Yeah.
don't know what's around the corner. Just do the work and keep an open heart and let people have time to be in their process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And no, I'm so grateful to finally be able to do this with you. And um, I, I just want to feel like I should say this too as devil's advocate a little bit. Sometimes doing the work does mean separating from people, but it doesn't mean it has to be the end. Maybe you just have different healing journeys and you guys can have a crossroads later on. I truly feel like for us, it was not, I did not choose the best way to choose my healing journey, but the ability to come back with a better state of mind and understanding of situations has helped even exponential like to make that healing faster process go faster. So maybe they're not in your life forever, and maybe they are, and maybe there's just time apart, but healing is the I think is the key to it, and making that choice as a healed person and not as a broken person.
I love that. And,
And
and for whether you're a kid or a parent, adult child or a parent right now, dealing with estrangement, no contact, broken communication between you and that other party, breathe, relax, relax.
yeah,
Had I been in Sarah's inbox every single day going, "Are you healed now? Ready to talk? Are you healed now? What about now? What about now? What about now? What about now? Are you ready to talk to me now? What about now? What about now? What about it?"
mm-mm,
So she had her path. I was on my path. When there was room to bring those paths back together, there was a seat at the table. She said
yeah,
that to me. It broke my freaking soul when she said it. Is there still a seat at the table, at your table? It's like, you're my freaking kid, man. You're my kid.
yeah,
And I've never wanted to have a gap between me and you. And the gap was inevitable because we the origin of our relationship started with a gap. I'm a stepmother. Well, that's a gap. There's a gap. And so this is the opportunity to reconcile and have adult relationship and communicate. And listen, this is the same with your biological kids, y'all. I've got boys that are going to their adult years. It's wrecking me. Y'all are wrecking me. Because I don't know that I'm not 23. Like it doesn't like inside, I'm not 53. So even with my adult kids, it's or my biological children who are going into adult years, I want to know them as who they are as individuals. I don't want them to please me. I want them to, in their heart of hearts, be everything that they can imagine and feel good about and introduce that to me. And then I will honor that. And I think
100%.
that's where, for a lot of parents, biological, step, foster, doesn't matter. For a lot of parents, they look at their children and require that identity to be some extension of this identity, and it must conform and blah. And that's not all the way we're going to thrive. I want her to be who she is. She even said to me as we were preparing for this, she was like, I'm not religious. Like it's the Godly Woman Network. And I'm like, that's okay. The Godly Woman Network isn't religious. It might be about creator, source, living by spirit, but I want people of all walks of lives, and even the teachings of Jesus that I teach from in the Aramaic. That's what he taught. Like, know the way, be connected this way, and then love each other this way.
Hmm.
You're good whether you're in the man role or the woman role or the Jew role or the non-believer role or the master role or the slave role, you're the light. Act like it.
And
And
yeah,
go ahead,
on
please.
that is that where we agree on spirituality, religion, the word you want to use for it is, I feel like there are core understandings, and that's love your family and then love other people like your own family and treat people like how you want to be treated. Like all in that concept of get right with the people in your life and that will expand to others, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Bible says, don't go give God your offering if you got a problem with your brother. Leave
Right.
whatever you trying to give right there and go clean it up with the one in your family.
100%.
Right. And you're right. I've experienced that. Like the more I've gotten right in myself, the more I've gotten right in my intimate relationships, the more I have been viable and useful to go and help other people, whether it's in my practice or as a neighbor or
Yeah. And nobody who's more knowledgeable than I comment on this, but I feel like a lot of different religions have those core values, right? Like it doesn't matter the name you put on your understanding or your religion or your belief. There are just these core sets of understanding. And I feel like that's where people connect the most. Whatever it is,
absolutely.
friendship, family,
That's right.
partner, I think. And I'm just very grateful that right now I'm doing it with my family and seeing how far that can go,
I know
like
that's right,
it's
girl.
got to start right here.
I know that's right, girl. I feel that way too, Sarah. I really feel that way too. So we're going to be back next month. Hold
Yes.
on, let's look at the date for next month because I feel like it'll be July 2nd next month. It's the first Thursday of every month. That's what we're starting out, right? We're
Yes, I
gonna
am.
just kind of see where it goes. We're totally open to building more,
Mhm. Mhm.
but for now we're just starting out this once a month. So next month, July 2nd, at Patrick Napa Clock, which is what we're gonna start calling it.
Yes. As you can tell, I keep
Patrick
being like,
Napa.
"Is he awake?" No? Okay.
It's okay if in some episodes you have to do a station identification break and go black out on
Right.
your camera and go take care of your
But they'll put up a little sign, "Patrick alarm, Patrick alarm."
right. Exactly. Yeah, you're picking up what I'm putting down. So July 2nd, we're coming back.
Mm.
And next month's episode, what did we say the title of that's going to be? I'm
Oh,
proud to be a
dot, dot, dot.
dot 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 baby. Give him a little teaser. Give him a little sneak into what we were going to talk about next month.
You know, depending on where you're watching us from, the 4th of July, we're going to be talking a lot about heritage, beliefs, and understanding and what you're proud to be. If that's American, if that's your own nationality, if that's your own religion, being proud of and stating, who you are as a person and what you, I don't want to say identify as, but like what
Yeah,
you're,
don't be
we're
cracking
not
open
going,
those. No, we're not doing that
we're not
conversation
going
right now
there.
yet. Yet.
No, but
But
just being
here's the thing.
proud of yourself.
Sarah was raised by, Texans. That's
Oh,
their ethnicity,
yeah,
Texans. I mean,
yeah.
they went to California eventually, but like they're Southern country folk, and they were Nazarene in the church, right?
Mhm.
Their religion was Nazarene. Um, or at most like non-denominational evangelical at some
Yeah,
point, some of the churches, right? But then then their dad and I got married, and it was like
and then
my
you
big
married
fat
my
Greek
father.
wedding, right? Like, so then I married your dad. And then I introduced this culture that was like nothing like they'd ever seen.
An amazing experience, but a lot of stories, a lot of good stories. A lot of
Lot of
good
experience. And so some of that like dovetailed together really, really well. And
absolutely.
some of it was the culture clash that you can think it was. Like if you saw my big fat Greek wedding, it was like my big fat Assyrian wedding. Like bunt kick. Like it was very culturally clashing.
Mm.
And not just our wedding day or the wedding, but life.
The last
And so
23 years.
approximately she's rounding down.
Rounding,
Uh,
rounding.
but Sarah was a lovely white girl growing up in an Assyrian church and in an Assyrian family. And, I listen to her talk to her son these days. And as a mom, she's using all the Assyrian baby talk. And I just kind of giggle when we're talking on the phone. And, you
I've
know,
even gotten my husband to, start using them too, so can't wait to get into that next month.
so yeah, so we're going to talk about, those, and true, it is the 4th of July. Sarah's married to a veteran.
Mm,
We've got vets in the family, her father and others who went through different forms of service. So we want to talk about being proud of being Americans. We do, but we also want to talk about being proud to be whatever it is that we are, and
100%.
how is it that we can be what we are, whatever it is. I wave my funky flag of Assyrianness, pretty strong. I'm pretty unapologetic about that, but not because I think it's better or superior. But that's just what I am.
Mhm.
Jalapenos are jalapenos, apples are apples, oranges are oranges. And how beautiful of a world we could create if we made room for people to be proud of what it was that they are, and able to experience it and share it, and in a way that left other people honored for them and what they are as well.
Couldn't have said it better.
All right, cool. Any final words today, darling?
Well, if not to be too cheesy, we've only just begun this journey, and I'm very excited to see what comes next.
Do you want to tell them why we called it We've Only Just Begun?
Oh, do we have another hour?
We,
We are very, you have the most amazing voice I had heard in a very long time. I grew up with a lot of people who sang and were artistically gifted in our family, and we got very lucky to have some studio time. I believe it was for you to sing some.
Nico, Michael
Yes,
Nico. Your dad and I were trying to think of his name.
Michael.
When I married Brian, I wrote and sang my vows at the wedding. Our music director of
Gorgeous.
our church at that time was like, "Why don't you sing your vows? I'll help you write the song." So I did. At the wedding, July 9th, 2005. I sang my vows. It was lovely. We all cried. And then afterwards, he said, "I've got a friend with studio. Why don't we get some studio time? You can lay it down on a track, keep it forever." We got the time, and he was like, "Hey, we got it for a couple hours. Why don't you guys prepare some other songs, whatever you want to record? So I did record the wedding vow song. I recorded it was Brian's birthday that day. We got like pizza and went to the studio. Do you remember me
Yes.
singing happy birthday like Marilyn Monroe
Marilyn
style?
Monroe.
Birthday, Brian Johns. Yeah,
What?
we sang that. I did recorded a couple Aramaic songs, and then Sarah and I.
But the funny thing was she didn't tell me this until we were in the car and we were picking she was like, "Why don't we sing something together?" And I'm what, 12, 13,
11.
11. And I'm like, "I don't know any songs." And so you just put in tapes and we were listening and we came up with "We've Only Just Begun" by please
The
don't
Carpenters.
The Carpenters. I'm so gonna get added for that. For the by the Carpenters, and we learned it on the car ride to the studio and recorded it that day. I
Oh, it
hope
was
that
so
never co
sweet.
I hope it never sees the light of day.
Oh, that footage will be found. I promise you. You let your mama go to Michigan and go through that storage unit. I'm gonna get
Woo!
it. I'm gonna get it.
I just
Y'all are
wanna
gonna hear it at some point. It's this sweet little voice. We've only just begun. Oh my gosh.
but I promise I've
It
been
was
through a
great.
lot of vocal training since then, so maybe we'll have to redo it all these
We
years.
should totally redo it. I was actually secretly thinking that we should redo it on Smule.
Ooh, okay, okay.
That if I lay down the first part and then you would just do the other part, and like then we could have it.
I love that. But before we get copyrighted by somebody, we'll go through the proper channels.
We'll go through proper channel.
Studio, we
We
will go through
promise
the
we're
proper
not trying to
channels.
take the rights from the Carpenters. We love you, Karen and family. All right, beautiful. Pulled off our first episode. All right. What do you think?
I think it was alright.
I
Can't
think
wait
we
to
did
see
all
what
right.
everybody else thinks.
Well, let us know what y'all think. Sarah and I are going to share this recording, this link here on the YouTube channel throughout our social media platforms. Give it a listen, share it with moms and daughters and families that you love and would love to see heal on their own healing journey. And then come back next month, July 2nd, around 4:30 in the Eastern time, give or take a
1:30
few.
1:30 around my time?
That's right, 1:30 Pacific-ish.
Ish.
And I
Patrick time.
promise, as soon as Patrick's settled, Patrick nap o'clock, we will be here and share more conversations with you. And in truth, if there are topics you would like for Sarah and me to take on, if you think, you know what, I'd love to hear y'all talk about this, let us know. We will take those topics on and do a whole episode about them. I got a hair in my eye. All right, y'all. Listen, thank you so much. Sarah, I love you, babe.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you too.
And we love you guys. Thank you for giving us a chance to talk into your lives and share our stories. And we will see you next month. Take care, everybody.